We are on Exodus chapter 5. And for the next, well, maybe through Exodus. I may be borrowing a lot of Charlton Heston pictures here. So, Exodus 5, verses 1 and 2. And afterward Moses and Aaron came and said to Pharaoh, "Thus says Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel, let my people go that they may celebrate a feast to me in the wilderness." But Pharaoh said, "Who is Yahweh that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know Yahweh. And besides, I will not let Israel go." Well, after Moses and Aaron met with the elders of Israel, they went into Pharaoh and they stated the command from Yahweh to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's response is what I find interesting. Who's Yahweh? You know, that's his question. Who is Yahweh? Elohim says that he places the plagues on Egypt for the sole purpose of answering that question. In Exodus 7, verses 4 and 5, when Pharaoh will not listen to you, then I'll lay my hand on Egypt and bring out my hosts, my people, the sons of Israel, from the land of Egypt by great judgments, and the Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch out my hand on Egypt and bring out the sons of Israel from their midst. He sent the plagues upon Egypt and spared Israel in order to proclaim his name in all the earth. In Exodus 9, verses 14 through 16, "For this time I will send all my plagues on you and your servants and your people, so that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. For if by now I had put forth my hand and struck you and your people with pestilence, you would then have been cut off from the earth. But indeed, for this cause I've allowed you to remain, in order to show you my power and in order to proclaim my name through all the earth." So you can see the purpose of the plagues and the purpose of all these things is so they find out who he is. The whole world's going to find out who he is. Now keep in mind, Pharaoh considered himself a god. Okay, he didn't consider himself just a king. He considered himself a god. And he wants to know how this Elohim is going to measure up to him. And he's going to find out. Verse 3 of Exodus 5. "Then they said, the Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go a 3 days' journey into the wilderness that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword." Moses is asking Pharaoh for exactly what Elohim told him to ask for. Israel will see that Pharaoh, he's against any kind of worship that they're going to do. Pharaoh considers himself God and does not even welcome this request at all. He thinks giving in to them would be a sign of weakness. Verses 4 and 5, "But the king of Egypt said to them, Moses and Aaron, why do you draw the people away from their work? Get back to your labors." Again Pharaoh said, "Look, the people of the land are now many, and you would have them cease from their labors." So Pharaoh sees this request, a 3 days journey to worship, as an excuse to get out of work. That's all he sees. And considering the number of Israelites in slavery, the loss of the workforce would be considerable. Also, that huge population might be too much to reckon with once they stopped working, once they gathered together and started reasoning among themselves. Verses 6 and 7. "So the same day Pharaoh commanded the taskmasters over the people and their foremen, saying, You're no longer to give the people straw to make brick as previously. Let them go and gather straw for themselves." The straw was mixed with clay in order to make the bricks. Now, this is expressly affirmed by Pharaoh, the historian, who himself was a native of Alexandria in Egypt. And he says, describing the oppression of the Israelites, that some were obliged to work in clay, and others were to gather straw for the formation of bricks, because straw is the binding of the brick. Philo's account is confirmed by Dr. Shaw, who says that some of the Egyptian pyramids are made of brick, the composition whereof is only a mixture of clay, mud, and straw, slightly blended and kneaded together and afterwards baked in the sun. The straw, which keeps the bricks together, still preserves its original color, seems to be a proof that these bricks were never burnt or made in kilns. The same materials are now used for buildings in Egypt. Mr. Baumgarten says the houses are for the most part of bricks that are only hardened by the heat of the sun and mixed with straw to make them firm. Also, the acid released by the decaying of the vegetative material would have added to the plastic and cohesive properties of the brick. Now, the reason you want straw in that brick is the same reason you put steel in concrete. Which you don't always do that, but oftentimes you do. And what you do with concrete and with say these clay bricks, if you have a load on a brick and it bends, you see the bottom part of this brick is in tension, and the top part is in compression. Now, the concrete or the clay can handle compression, but it has no tension properties. All right, so you put the straw in there to take care of the tension part. And that's, like I said, that's what a lot of the pyramids and stuff were made of. And these things were provided for the Israelites. Now they're going to have to get their own. Verses 8 and 9. But the quota of bricks which they were making previously you shall impose on them. You are not to reduce any of it, because they're lazy, therefore they cry out, let us go and sacrifice to our Elohim. Let the labor be heavier on the men. Let them work at it that they may pay no attention to false words. So they got to make the same number of bricks, plus they got to go out and gather their own straw. Well, this was previously an agreement with the government. They would provide that part, but not now. Verse 10, so the taskmasters of the people and their foremen went out and spoke to the people, saying, thus says Pharaoh, I'm not going to give you any straw. You go and get straw for yourselves wherever you find it, but none of your labor will be reduced. So the people scattered through all the land of Egypt to gather stubble for straw. Now the taskmasters were Egyptians, and the foremen were Israelites. Verse 10, very interesting little phrase. Now if you remember, Moses and Aaron just went up to Pharaoh, and they said, thus says Yahweh, let the people go out and worship on a 3 days journey. Look at the response in verse 10. The taskmasters go out to the people and say, thus says Pharaoh, I'm not going to give you any straw. So he is mocking the words of Elohim. We'll see who's more powerful is what he's saying. Verses 13 and 14. And the taskmasters pressed them, saying, complete your work quota, your daily amount, just as when you had straw. Moreover, the foremen of the sons of Israel, whom Pharaoh's taskmasters had set over them, were beaten, and were asked, why have you not completed your required amount either yesterday or today in making brick as previously? So the foremen were beaten because they didn't meet their quota for a couple days. Israel was apparently on the brink of their physical capabilities before they had to gather their own straw. Verse 15, then the foreman of the sons of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, why do you deal this way with your servants? There's no straw given to your servants, yet they keep saying to us, make bricks, and behold, your servants are being beaten, but it is a fault of your own people. But he said, you're lazy, very lazy, therefore you say, let us go and sacrifice to Yahweh. The quota is down. It's the fault of the Egyptians. But Pharaoh wants to punish Israel for the desire to worship Yahweh. Verses 18 and 19. So now go and work, for you shall be given no straw, yet you must deliver the quota of bricks. And the foremen of the sons of Israel saw that they were in trouble, because they were told, you must not reduce your daily amount of bricks. Well, the foremen were chastised, and they're told that things are not going to change. They'll continue to be beaten until they start meeting that quota. Verses 20 and 21. When they left Pharaoh's presence, they met Moses and Aaron as they were waiting for them. And they said to them, may Yahweh look upon you and judge you, for you've made us odious in Pharaoh's sight and in the sight of his servants, to put a sword in their hand to kill us. So they blamed Moses for their plight. They felt as though Pharaoh was going to kill them for this. Verses 22 and 23. Then Moses returned to Yahweh and said, O Adonai, why have you brought harm to this people? Why did you ever send me? Ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he's done harm to this people, and you have not delivered your people at all. Now, Moses' disappointment in his failure shows he had unrealistic expectations of success initially, okay? Elohim told him, this is going to be a process. This isn't going to be easy. He told him that. He's reverting back to, Moses is going to go back to his original reluctance to get involved here that he had before. Chapter 6, verse 1. For Yahweh said to Moses, now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. For under compulsion he shall let them go, and under compulsion he shall drive them out of his land. See, Elohim is going to force the hand of Pharaoh to release Israel. He's going to have no choice. Verses 2 and 3, Elohim spoke further to Moses and said to him, I am Yahweh, and I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El Shaddai, Elohim Almighty. But by my name Yahweh, I did not make myself known to them. Okay, a lot of people say, well, he didn't reveal his real name to them as Yahweh. That's not what he's saying here, because they did know him by that name. In Genesis 12, verses 7 and 8, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said, to your descendants I will give this land. So he built an altar there to Yahweh, who had appeared to him. Then he proceeded from there to the mountain on the east of Bethel and pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to Yahweh and called upon the name of Yahweh. So he's not saying they didn't know his name. You know what he's saying? He's saying that Israel, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, did not know the power in the name of Yahweh because it had not been previously demonstrated to them. And he says, but it's going to be demonstrated to you. He's going to demonstrate to them that his word is steadfast and that he will keep his covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob by delivering them out of Egypt and into the land of Canaan. And then beyond. See, the covenant started in Genesis. And the covenant today is why his people today are being, you could say, saved. Okay? The only reason being is that he's going to keep his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And he's going to take his people from the nations and from his descendants. And he's going to save them. And when I use the term save, we talked about that last week. You know, I've been hesitant to use the word till I saw it explained better. Because I hear, you must be saved, and then this Baptist cringe kind of gave me the willies a little bit. But no, I understand what it means now. They always say you're going to be saved from your sin. Not exactly. You're going to be saved from sinning. Okay? He's going to put his breath, his spirit within you, and cause you to walk according to his laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances. Okay? You're going to be saved from sinning. That doesn't mean you're going to be perfect yet. Okay? I don't know about you, but I'm a lot better than I was. And the walk over time gets easier, more enjoyable. But it's that covenant he made. Okay? And that's why it says Elohim is faithful. He keeps saying that in his word. He's faithful. He's keeping that covenant with those guys way back then. And by the same token, he expects his people to keep their word. He expects it. If you say it, do it. Especially a covenant. Verses 4 and 5 of Exodus 6. And I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they sojourned. And furthermore, I've heard the groaning of the sons of Israel, because the Egyptians are holding them in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Elohim is going to keep his promise to them. That's what he's going to do. Verse 6, say therefore to the sons of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I'll bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will deliver you from their bondage. I'll also redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. Then I'll take you for my people, and I'll be your Elohim. And you shall know that I am Yahweh your Elohim who brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I'll bring you into the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I'll give it to you for a possession. I am Yahweh. There are 7 verbs used to describe what Yahweh will do for Israel. He says, I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will deliver you from their bondage. I will redeem you. I will take you for my people. You will know that I am Yahweh your Elohim. And to bring you into the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I will give it to you as a heritage. These are the purposes and the actions of Elohim. Why is it so important to get those people in that land that he promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Why is that so important? It's part of the covenant. Yes, it is part of the covenant. And it's the kingdom. See, and that's what people don't understand. When you die, you don't go to heaven. Okay, you die. There's going to be a resurrection, but there's no ghost floating around up there. When you die, you go sleep with the fathers. That means you're asleep. That's how it's described. But when he returns, the kingdom that everyone's going to be a part of is that land. Okay, it all ties back to Genesis. All this stuff ties back to Genesis. It's that land. When it says the kingdom of heaven, it should be, you see, heaven is plural, even in the Greek. And that kingdom of the heavens. It's the kingdom that comes from the heavens. Okay, it means from the sky. That's what, when you hear heavens, don't think floating angels with wings and all that. Okay, heaven, think up there, just the sky, because that's what it means. See, Scripture's a lot more tangible than Christianity makes it out to be. You can really get your hands on it better. Okay, if you lose the ghosts, and if you lose the cloudy existence up there, and don't rely on your feelings to be saved. And I hate to hurt people's feelings, but their feelings won't save them. I don't remember reading anywhere in Scripture you have to have a good feeling to be saved. And Scripture says you will be judged by your feelings. No, works, right? Works. You won't be judged by your feelings. Oh, what if tomorrow I don't want to take a nap? I'm tired. I want to go out and mow the lawn. I'm going to go ahead and take the nap if I have to instead of mowing the lawn, but I'm not happy about it. Or you could say, well, nobody's looking. Let's go out there and mow the lawn. I said, no. Yeah, that's a no. You're not judged by your feelings. See, someone may say, I don't feel guilty about mowing the lawn, therefore I'm not guilty on Saturday. That's not how you feel. Guilt isn't determined by your feelings. Whether or not you feel guilty doesn't make you guilty. You're judged by your works. Just do what the Father says. Verse 9 of Exodus 6. So Moses spoke thus to the sons of Israel, but they did not listen to Moses on account of their despondency and cruel bondage. So often the tragedies of immediate circumstances cloud one's ability to hear the true words of comfort and hope. And that's just how it is. That happens. They lost heart. They've lost heart at this time, is what happened. Yeah, can you blame them? Verse 10, now Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, go tell Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to let the sons of Israel go out of his land. But Moses spoke before Yahweh, saying, behold, the sons of Israel have not listened to me. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? For I am unskilled in speech. Now, Moses, first of all, is going back to his old excuses, and he too has lost heart. Now, and once again, let's go back to this. It sounds like he's saying he's got a speech impediment again, doesn't it? That's what it looks like. I'm unskilled in speech. The New American Standard is the most literal translation, but still has some issues and tries to help you some, okay? Almost every other translation uses a different term. How then, in the New King James, how then shall Pharaoh need me, for I am of uncircumcised lips? And Young's literal translation, an eye of uncircumcised lips. See, what he's saying there, if the circumcised sons of Israel won't listen to me, how can I go to Pharaoh, the uncircumcised Pharaoh, and why would he listen? And he's saying with these uncircumcised lips, he's saying my words have no authority. That's what he's saying. Okay? No authority. Verse 13. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron and gave them a charge to the sons of Israel and to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to bring the sons of Israel out of the land of Egypt. Elohim gave a command for Moses and Aaron to give to the children of Israel and to Pharaoh. They are to come out of Egypt. Verse 14. These are the heads of their fathers' households, the sons of Reuben, Israel's firstborn, Hanok and Palu, Hezron and Carmi. These are the families of Reuben. And the sons of Simeon, Yemuel and Yamin and Ohad and Yakin and Zohar, and Shaul the son of a Canaanite woman. These are the families of Simeon. These are the names of the sons of Levi according to their generations. Gershon, Kohath, and Merari, and the length of Levi's life was 137 years. This genealogy is to show the lineage of Moses and Aaron, to show their rightful place as deliverers of the people of Israel. Verse 17. The sons of Gershon, Libni and Shammai, according to their families, and the sons of Kohath, Amram and Izhar and Hebron and Uzziel, and the length of Kohath's life was 133 years, and the sons of Merari, Mali and Mushi. If you get twins, that's one of the top 10 choices you should get, is Mali and Mushi. These are the families of the Levites according to their generations. And Amram married his father's sister Jochebed, and she bore him Aaron and Moses, and the length of Amram's life was 137 years. Ooh, did anyone catch that? Kind of read past it. Who did Moses' dad marry? His father's sister. That's a no-no. You know, they already knew the Torah. We've proven that. They knew the Torah. Leviticus 18:12, you shall not uncover the nakedness of your father's sister. She is your father's blood relative. Do you remember when Elohim first talked to Moses about bringing the people out? He said, I'm unworthy. That's why he said it. That's why he said it. In Exodus 3, verses 10 and 11. Therefore, come now, and I'll send you to Pharaoh, so that you may bring my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt. But Moses said to Elohim, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh, and that I should bring the sons of Israel out of Egypt? I believe that's what he was talking about.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Pharaoh, feeling like he's a god, why he would have just told one of his guards to waste his back?
That wasn't the way Elohim was going to let him work. He wants, what in his mind, in my thought, just like Pontius Pilate with Yeshua up there, he wanted to tease the people and torture the people more, and show Moses and Aaron who's the real God. Verse 21. And the sons of Izhar, Korah, and Nepheg, and Zikri. And the sons of Uzziel, Mishael, and Elzaphan, and Sithri. And Aaron married Elisheba, the daughter of Aminadab, the sister of Nashon, and she bore him Nahab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. Now, do you think, how does he get up there and read those names like that? Hey, if I'm mispronouncing them, you don't even know it, do you? If I am, prove it. And the sons of Kohar, Asir, and Elkanah, and Abiasaph. These are the families of the Korahites. And Aaron's son, Eleazar, married one of the daughters of Putiel, and she bore him Phinehas. And these are the heads of the fathers' households of the Levites, according to their families. It was the same Aaron and Moses to whom Yahweh said, bring out the sons of Israel from the land of Egypt, according to their hosts. So that's the genealogy of Moses and Aaron. And they're Levites, okay? So they're from the priestly tribe. What will be the priestly tribe? It isn't at this time. Verse 27, they were the ones who spoke to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, about bringing out the sons of Israel from Egypt. It was the same Moses and Aaron. Now it came about on the day when Yahweh spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, that Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, I am Yahweh, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that I speak to you. But Moses said before Yahweh, behold, I am in unskilled speech. How then will Pharaoh listen to me? Same phrase, okay, mistranslated. It should say, I am of uncircumcised lips. My words don't carry authority. Okay, what good is it for me to talk to Pharaoh? He's not going to listen to me. And once again, people go back to the stuttering thing with Moses. No, Elohim first told him to meet with who and talk to them? The leaders, the elders of Israel, okay, and tell them what you're going to do. And he said, but I'm slow in speech. Yes, he was raised an Egyptian for 40 years. Then he spent 40 years in where? Midian, in the desert. How much time did he spend among the Hebrews? Yeah, about 20 minutes. His Hebrew wasn't good, is what he was saying. And then they said, well, I'll send your brother Aaron. He knows Hebrew real well. And then this, he's saying, now my words have no authority. Okay? It's not a cleft palate or anything like that. And I'm afraid that's what people try to say.